Welcome to New Europe Studios, where you can watch us make the news. I'm here again with two more entrepreneurs that the World Bank have brought to the Brussels Forum, hoping that they'd encourage an exchange of ideas and information and present perspectives that we often don't hear too much. First of all, I've got Chikondi and David. Chikondi's from Malawi, and where you work in a variety of fields from women's rights to sustainable energy. What of these fields have caused interest at the summit?
We were talking about the carbon pricing that the developed nations are suggesting as a solution to access to energy, to bring equality to access to energy across the globe. And these are one of the issues that we discuss both at global level and from a development perspective, and also from a rights perspective in terms of access to these resources and the implications that things like carbon pricing have on poor countries. Yeah.
Okay. And how was your message that you were giving received, and also in return, did you pick up anything particularly interesting that you're going to take back to Malawi?
Yes, the contribution was on mostly how it's a good theory, but there are issues that have to be looked into apart from just putting carbon pricing on developing countries, like issues of land access, issues where people are mostly in agriculture, and the same land that we have to use for planting trees to offset the carbon emissions is the same land that we have to use for farming our food. And then there are issues of bringing inequalities more to developing countries because of what the developed countries are suggesting we do in our country. So one of the things I think we taking back home is the issue on trying to have a more broader look at things, and also try to incorporate what we have learned from developed countries and what we're experiencing, and bring them together to have more sustainable solutions to problems, because we have realized they are more global than specific.
I mean, there are several very interesting points coming out from what you make. First of all, the fact is that policies may be designed with the best intentions in the world, but when they meet the real world, particularly in the developing world, and that's a phrase that I think we're becoming more and more uncomfortable with. We need to listen to how it actually works in practice. We need to have your feedback, even if you're not telling people particularly what they would like to hear. Did they accept your comments well?
Actually, they did, and I think it's one of the things on the climate talks that they have to embed issues of agriculture and issues of climate change and energy into one. So it was quite interesting to know that though we are facing them in the developing countries, they have also seen that that's another way that we have to move forward, and there are talks about it. So I think that was a positive thing to learn, that they know what's going on.
Well, in fact, even the fact that they're listening to you
Yes.
is a huge step, and I think the World Bank and many other organisations who have been pushing this certainly need credit. And of course, David, you've got an equally tricky area of expertise to work in, that most difficult of subjects, anti-corruption and good governance.
Indeed, this is a very complicated issue, and unfortunately it covers most of the developing South. It's a big problem in Africa and certainly Latin America. We had a session on anti-corruption and governance actually of the forum, although the focus was really on grand corruption. We also had the opportunity through our comments and questions to include the situation of petty corruption. And I had the opportunity as a member and a co-founder of the Global Youth Anti-Corruption Network, a network that was incubated and supported by the World Bank, to share with them the importance of not only propose new ideas but also new approaches. In the Global Youth Anti-Corruption Network, for instance, we work integrating art like music, the ICTs, the CSOs and journalism integrated to innovate in the approach in tackling corruption and promoting transparency. I believe that one of the main advocacy that we do as a network is to promote the vision of youth as experts, not really as people from which you can have this inspiring view of what they are doing or their perceptions, but really to bring them to listen to their policy proposals. There is a range of innovations going on in all the world, and I think this kind of opportunities are the places or the platforms in which we can actually contribute to policy making instead of just being, participants of it. There's a lot of work to do that. I think the people and the presenters and the forum also wanted more assertiveness from us, more suggestions rather than comments, but I think we're in the right way, and that openness, the fact that they are interested in what we have to criticize and also propose is a big and major advantage, and it's a great thing.
Well, once again, we've got both people saying essentially the same thing. They're putting forward intelligent, considered, thoughtful ideas, and they both seem to be being seriously listened to.
Yes.
And of course, when it comes to things like climate and of course corruption, Brussels is not entirely as clean as it possibly could be, not even with the scandals that we've seen in lobbying, and of course a couple of members of the European Parliament even being in prison for taking inducements. But also, as you may know, that Brussels and Strasbourg and Paris have recently had to have changes to the transport system because of pollution in the air from our cities. So I mention this purely as a reminder to everyone that the issues that these people are bringing up here are not developing world issues. They're not issues for somewhere far away. They're also equally relevant to us today, and if they can speak to a forum in a manner as they have done and be received, then quite frankly we should also be listening to them in Brussels. Thank you both very much for your time.
Thank you.